Okay, let's get into this topic again.
Welcome to my channel. My name is Schindelka, and here I talk about everything related to mindfulness, spirituality, and our way to recovery and a happy life. I'm very grateful that you are here today, and I hope you enjoy this video.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. For those of you that don't know me yet, my name is Schindelka and I'm a life coach specialized in helping people recover from anxiety, other mental disturbances. One of my most popular videos was on the topic of me dealing with existential dread and depersonalization and derealization. And I have made so many videos on how to recover, so many recovery tips. I have made a complete life course with all the tools that I have used for myself to recover, as for other clients that I've coached completely throughout the recovery. So I have this complete course, I have all of these videos. But one of the comments I got yesterday was from someone asking me if I wanted to make a video on my more own personal experience. And I realized that I haven't told about it a lot, but I haven't really made a video specifically in depth going about how I experienced it. And also I get a lot of questions from people, either clients, people wanting to participate in the course, or just people contacting me through Instagram that always ask me if I about my own experience, because I think one of the most important things you guys want to know to feel safe again, to feel comfortable again, to feel like nothing's wrong with you, is to hear more personal stories of people experiencing the same thing, that you know you're not going crazy, there's nothing wrong with you, that it's very much relatable for a lot of people. And tied to that, of course, I want to give you the success story of how I completely recovered myself. If I could recover and dozens of my clients have been able to recover, then you can as well. So I want to start my story at the beginning, which is, and a lot of things that I will say today probably will relate to the video I've made already, but I will just try to explain a little bit more in depth. So the beginning of my story is when I was studying philosophy at the KU Leuven in Belgium. I've always been very much interested in thinking about existential questions, reality. My mom used to say that when I was a child, I would always ask questions about the infinity of the universe, or like, who is God, or stuff like that. So I was always kind of a philosophist. And so that's the reason I went to study it. And it went really well. I really enjoyed it. I really got a lot of insights. I felt very safe thinking about these existential topics, until I started to kind of shift into anxiety. And it wasn't necessarily because of these questions yet. I think it was a coming together of multiple factors. One of which was that I experienced 2 bad trips with weed. I never really smoked a lot of weed, but I tried it as any kind of student would try it. And 2 times I had a very bad trip, so I was very anxious. I completely lost touch with reality. I started to hallucinate, started to see things that weren't there. And basically I felt trapped in myself. I felt trapped in the world. I started to question reality, if everyone around me was even real, if I was being fooled, like kind of in the movie The Matrix. So that was a feeling I had in those bad trips. And when I was sober again, I always thought, oh well, it will just be because of the weed, but there was some kind of fear that always remained. And then when I had to go back to studying philosophy and asking these existential questions, I immediately just felt so scared of them. I couldn't do it anymore. I couldn't study it anymore. I couldn't read or write about it anymore, because everything that was related to the anxiety that I had, I wanted to completely avoid. So I also stopped studying philosophy after that summer when I experienced that. But well, what actually happened after is there was one point, like a month after I experienced my heavy anxiety with the weed, where I had my first not under influence panic attack. And it was the worst panic attack I ever had. I think for a lot of people, the first one is always the worst one. And so you all know this story if you've watched my previous videos. I was on a holiday with my parents in Greece, so I was like thinking a lot about what had happened. I was really trying to obsess over this anxiety, trying to push it away, trying to enjoy my vacation by not thinking about it. But the more I pushed it away, the more I started to think about it. And it just got together at some point. I remember feeling throughout the entire holiday really off, really scared, really anxious, but unable to talk about it with my parents because I knew they would think I was weird or like that something wasn't right. And at the end of the holiday, it kind of just bursted into the biggest anxiety attack of my life. We were at the airport in Greece on our way to take a flight back home to Belgium. And we arrived at the airport in the car. And I remember sitting in the car and just looking at everything, and everything started to go so blurry. Everything, I felt like I was completely disconnecting from reality. That's the best way to put it. And everyone and everything around me just seemed so fake to me. I remember thinking that I was being fooled, that I was in a psychosis, that I was like in the matrix, that everyone around me was fake, and that I was being fooled, or like the typical feelings that you have with existential dread or like a DPDR especially. And I was resisting it so bad. I was so scared that I got into a complete panic attack. So I started to freak out. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't do anything. I started to cry all over the airport, and I couldn't run anywhere because reality itself was scaring me. I somehow managed to calm myself down on the airplane by basically forcing myself because I had no other way, and I was just like, okay, if I get back home, we can deal with this property. But after that, something really changed for me. So I got back home, and for weeks and months, I just felt so empty. I felt so dreaded out. I felt so hopeless because I felt like I had figured something out about life and it could never be taken back. And so I was afraid of dying because death really scared me. But I was also afraid to live because I couldn't keep living with this feeling. So the whole period after that for me is kind of explainable as months of trying to avoid a panic attack whilst feeling completely derealized, dissociated, fearful, not connected to myself, didn't trust anything, anyone. And there was this constant heavy feeling of dread on my chest. And I tried everything. I tried to think my way through it. I tried to find answers. I tried to fight it every time. I tried to distract myself, but everywhere I went, it just kept chasing me. I think I've kind of explained enough like how I was feeling. I think that's probably the most that you want to hear about the anxiety, the dread, the feeling of not being here. What changed for me was I didn't go to therapy, didn't look online, didn't do anything because I was basically too scared to look up anything, and everyone I asked around me had no idea, like couldn't relate to me and what I was experiencing. So I felt like it wouldn't be of much use to actually go look for external help. And I remember sitting on my bed and having like this complete mental breakdown again. I was feeling the anxiety coming up. I was so tired. I didn't want to go back into an anxiety attack. And so I remember sitting there and just saying to myself, okay, hit me. I'm too tired of fighting this. I just let the anxiety come. I don't care even more. I was so burnt out by trying to figure out how to get out of this that I basically just said, let it come. So I sat on my bed and I was like talking to my anxiety. It was like it was sitting in front of me, and I just said, what's the problem? Come on, tell me. You can tell me everything. And I just kept repeating the thoughts that I was having in my mind, like, yeah, well, reality doesn't seem real. Well, okay, what else? I'm afraid of what's gonna happen when we die. Okay, that's okay. What else? What else do you have? And I just kept kind of confronting it and trying to get more and more whilst staying calm with an open mind and open heart, because I realized that the thing that feared me the most was my fear itself. The thing that feared me the most was my reaction to these questions. So I changed the reaction and I just said, okay, hit me. And it worked so well for me that by doing that, it started to get like a little bit better. Hi everyone, just interrupting very shortly in my own video while I'm editing, because I always forget to do this, but I wanted to talk really quickly about my recovery course that I have just created completely out of my own recovery and that of coaching many clients through their whole process as well. So you can now purchase the recovery course that also has access to a Facebook community where we can help each other through this, and every tool that you need to feel peaceful again, to feel yourself happy again, enjoying life again, and feeling trust again is in this course. So you can purchase it in the link in the description. Now get back to the video. And then I got a book, as you all know, Fear by Thich Nhat Hanh, which helped me out a lot, which taught me all about accepting your fear, accepting your anxiety, allowing it. And basically, it started the way of mindfulness for me and spirituality. So I started to really open myself to this whole process instead of running away from it, resisting it, trying to escape it by distracting myself. I really said I want to dive deeper. I want to confront this. I want to find myself spiritually. I want to see what this all means, and I'm going to try to find answers to these existential questions, not by searching in my mind, but by tuning into my heart and actually going deeper into my intuition and into my feeling. So that's where it started becoming more of a spiritual journey instead of a recovery experience. So I started to really go more spiritually. I started to meditate, started to do breathing exercises. And that's actually how I managed to completely recover it. And the metaphor I always use for my own recovery and basically for that of everyone else I've helped through this is, if your anxiety is a seed, you make it get small, you make it smaller by embracing it, but you make it grow by resisting it. And so your whole recovery process is also about getting smaller and smaller, the anxiety getting smaller and smaller. It's not like one step process where it just clicks and it all goes away. Well, at least it wasn't like that for me. It's about learning to make it fade away slowly, because you're teaching your brain that it's actually not so dangerous anymore. And that's a step-by-step process. I guess that was the essence of me recovering from DPDR and existential fears. One of the questions I get a lot from people is like, are you fully recovered now? Do you ever get those questions and those fears again? The answer, well, I am 100% recovered. But of course, I still get these questions sometimes. The only difference is now that I get these questions, I'm not afraid of them anymore. And I can actually invite them in and say, okay, let's look at that from a place of peace. And recovering from anxiety is also about realizing how much you're actually in control of your own emotions, and that it's not because you can't control something external that you can't control the way you react to it. I want to thank you for watching this video today. I really hope you got something from this. I think it is one of the most important experiences I ever had dealing with existential anxiety, because it just opened a completely new world for me. It made me so much more peaceful in the end. And I want you to know that recovery is 100% possible. There's no truth saying you can't recover. The only voice telling you you can't recover is the anxiety itself, and you are not that anxiety. So I want to really wish you all the best on your recovery journey. I'll put some links in the description if you're interested in taking the course or going into coaching. You're always welcome to just check that out and do a free intake session with me. And I wish you all the best. I hope this helped, and I hope you have a great day. Bye bye.